Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Fish in the Percolator. This time we are talking about, I think, episode 7, right, Matt?
I believe you are correct, Scott.
I am one of your hosts, Scott Meany.
I'm the other host, Matt Jorney.
So, I guess let's get right into it, because big week this week.
To be fair, last week me and you were kind of a little down. Not out, but a little down on the dryness of the Dougie, and this episode perked me right back up. Got me excited like it was episode 1 all over again.
Yeah, I just needed some form of forward momentum with the Dougie thing, and boy, did we get it. But
we got it good.
But let's hold on for Dougie. We'll work on Dougie later.
All right.
Let's go immediately to your friend and mine, Hawk.
The man with the plan, apparently.
Would you like to take us through the pages of Laura's diary?
Okay, so this one gets a tad bit confusing. So shit is getting, shall we say, a bit more Lynchian than usual when we're going to talk about things out of time and stuff that should not be. Because they've assessed that those pages, the 3 pages they found, are 3 of the 4 missing pages from Laura Palmer's real diary, the one that they found in the Shut-In's house. I forget his name. But
Harold.
Thank you, Harold's house. 1 page is still MIA. When they read it, it's Laura talking about in her conversation she had with Annie and, quote, the good Coop. All of stuff that we saw happened on the finale of season 2, but she wrote it back when she was alive. So hyper confusing.
Very reminiscent of the I'll see you in 25 years thing that Laura said to Coop. Said, this came to me in a dream last night. My name is Annie. I've been with Dale and Laura. Me? Like, the good Dale is in the lodge and he can't leave. Write it in your diary. So same kind of deal as the 25 years thing. It really, God, this is fascinating. I love this show. I love this puzzle shit, Matt.
But I mean, it's something that's easy to understand but hard to explain in words. It's again, dream logic. Laura dreamt this shit happening in the future, but then did it in the past. All of it is to get Sheriff Frank Truman and the Hawk to realize, all right, even if we do meet Cooper at this point, we can't trust him. Like, yeah. It's just to raise eyebrows at the fact that Coop is not a man to be trusted at this point in time.
I think that's the big point of this episode, is that all of the parties involved are starting to get a hint that the Coop that exists might not be the real Coop. Everyone's starting to get an inkling that things are not quite right in Coopland.
Now we understand that Hawk, who we always had a thought that he did, but also Frank Truman, believe implicitly about the Black Lodge and know about its presence and are not questioning any of this as, is this real or just the mad writings of a girl that was found dead?
Yeah, that's something that prompts Frank Truman to call up Harry S. Truman on the phone, and we just get our latest Harry update, and he's not doing so hot and beat this thing, which I openly think is really Lynch's speaking to the actor who didn't come back for his thing. I think so. I definitely feel like it's a respect thing for that actor of like, no, I get your choice, but I hope you pull through. Like, I get it. It's an honor to the character.
That's fair, because here's the thing. It's kind of heart-wrenching to see Frank talking to his brother, who's clearly getting worse and worse every episode. And this whole season finale better end with Frank getting a phone call. He's okay. Everything's in remission.
I really hope so, because we lost another one this week, which comes into the next scene. This must have been brutal for Lynch and Frost to have edited and put together, because Warren Frost, the actor who played Doc Hayward, this week he's the one that's memorialized in the credits.
Yep.
This show is a widowmaker, dude, or a widower maker. It didn't.
Yeah,
it killed everyone: male, female, animal, plant. Like everything got wasted.
Like we were talking off camera, like it's kind of unfair because 27 years doesn't seem like a extraordinarily long amount of time for all these people to be dropping. But then you realize the ones that were dropping were in their 60s, if not older, in 1991. So it's like, oh, of course, this would be a problem 25 years in the future.
So we get this cool scene where Sheriff Truman and Doc Hayward talk with that fantastic computer, indicating that they do indeed have modern technology at the Twin Peaks Sheriff Station.
So jealous of that desk, man, because that was my first thought. Because bear with me now, it starts off with a phone call from the Sheriff Truman to Doc Hayward. He says, "Do you know what Skype is?" And both being sensible men, of course they do. And he's like, "All right, I'll Skype you." And then I'm looking, I'm like, all right, why does he have a keyboard on his desk? What's going to happen? Because I knew it was going to be something awesome. And for a minute, I thought hologram. Meaning, like, I thought we were going to go full-blown into the future for a second, but instead something infinitely more kind of awesome happens. He pulls on a wooden lever, and his computer's monitor just retracts out of the damn desk. Beautiful scene.
Fantastic. Doc Hayward, who not looking great, obviously on some kind of the character on some form of permanent holiday vacation,
retirement.
Very retired and fishing. Yeah, it's a fair point. I guess that's a better way to say it. Boob. I'm an idiot. Anyway, but regardless, the main thing we get out of that is he gives us some answers on what happened to Audrey Horne. And Audrey Horne went into a coma after the explosion, so we know that at least. And I think within the next few episodes, we should be getting our first glimpses of Audrey again.
Cool. I do want to go back just a couple of seconds into the past in the show and be like, we still don't know the inevitable fate of Annie. I only bring that up because when they mention Annie's character, both Hawk and the sheriff look at each other with kind of a mournful look in their eyes. Who knows if she's going to be a reoccurring character?
Yeah, Dark Coop obviously got open. It didn't go well when he got out of that hospital, but whatever. Taking us still in Twin Peaks for some more detective work, Andy and a man listed only as Farmer have a weird meeting where the farmer guy is super worried about something and wants to meet Andy in 2 hours.
May I tap in for a second here?
About Andy's Rolex watch?
No, but about how excited I was where I actually saw Andy being a cop for all of 10 seconds.
I agree. I felt the same way. Like, it was like, look at that. Andy can pull his shit together when there's not a dead body in front of him.
Right. And I'm like, oh my God, did Andy actually become a fucking deputy? What the hell's happening?
Maybe he always was when there wasn't a dead body. Maybe that was just the thing that set Andy off.
Could be. I mean, or maybe he just is better flying solo. Who knows? But here's where Andy falls apart again. The reason he's questioning Farmer, as he is titled in the credits, is because that truck is the truck that ran over that child. Instead of arresting this man who is being not very cooperative, he's cooperating somewhat, but says he can't talk now, is trying to whisk the cop away. Andy says, "Sure, meet me on the highway in 2 hours."
Yeah. But that doesn't end well.
Yeah, that's some bad police work.
Yeah, but I get the impression that Andy knew that guy. And, like, I didn't think that this guy was a running risk. I actually think still good police work on Andy being like, all right, fine, I'm out of here. But then we're talking in 2 hours. Do what you got to do. But then you've got answers you got to give me. I actually think that was good police work on Andy. I'm willing to believe that Andy trusted his CI enough, like, to see what's going on there.
That man was clearly afraid of something.
Yes.
And as a cop who I am going to question you for the hit and run manslaughter of a child, I don't know if I let him have that luxury of, meet me in 2 hours.
Are you totally sure that was the truck?
Almost completely positive.
Okay. We will see. Because all we do know is that whoever that guy was worried about showed up.
And then we don't know much about that.
And then we don't know anything else after. So that got weird and spooky. So who knows? But hey, while we're in the woods, so is Jerry.
Stoned to the bejesus belt.
Very, very high, worried that his car is stolen and bothering poor brother Ben.
Ben getting kind of senile or at least hard of hearing. Like, the what questions that are asked in this episode are at a higher level than they've ever been in this show.
What I would say is more, you're however old he is, 70 some odd year old businessman getting calls from your idiot brother who's high in the woods in his 60s. Like, I feel like that's warranted. That warrants a what? Like, I think I'm high. God damn it. Like,
what do you mean you think, you idiots? Are you or aren't you?
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, I'm willing to commiserate with Ben for this.
Hey, is it wrong to say I feel a little bit bad for Jerry in that scene?
I'm waiting to, because we never go back to Jerry, and I'm just like, I guess Jerry died in the woods.
I was going to say, what if Jerry's dead by exposure in next episode? It's like, oh no.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't totally write that off.
Yeah,
but
I also wouldn't hang up on my stoned, freaking out brother who's lost in the woods somewhere.
You get the impression that might not have been the first time that happened.
Yeah.
But I don't think Ben's hearing is so bad, because in the next time we see him, he's walking around with the Ashley Judd character, Beverly, and they're hearing a humming. Some mysterious humming that I absolutely thought was going to be Josie.
So we're just going to cut to this. It's Josie, right? Like, it's
no. I think it's the key.
I think okay. That's the thing is, I had this conversation with a couple of people this week. It didn't start happening until the key was back.
Exactly.
But what if the key is resonating with Josie?
That's what I'm also assuming is happening.
Yeah, because they keep putting that camera on the wood.
Yeah.
Specifically the wooden walls.
I think that was another fake out from, I agree that that's 100% what's going to happen. That's what I thought as well. Josie's reacting to the key, but I also think that they kept expecting you to expect Josie's stupid CGI face to stick out from that wood.
Yeah, I don't think we ever see Josie again.
I don't think we will either, but you absolutely expected it to happen in that scene. Like, you kept waiting for, especially at the end, as it's just zooming in slow on that panel of wood that's completely not interesting in any way. Like, it was a total fake out intentionally.
Agreed.
The tension of that was definitely building for Josie. Nah.
But like we were saying before, and I know me and you commented on it, I'm like, once that key gets back to the Great Northern, I bet you shit happens. And oh, look, it looks like shit is starting to happen.
Yes, indeed. So Beverly clearly still has some kind of a thing for Ben, or she's playing him. Who really knows what the hell's going on there?
She's lonely.
She's got trouble at home. Her husband, Tom, is ill with what appears to be some form of, I'm assuming, cancer.
Yeah, late-term cancer, too.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Nah.
And they immediately take a point to kind of show you that Beverly is way darker than she appears to be. And that's the only thing I think you can really take from that scene, is that she could be playing Ben. She could be cheating on her ill husband. Who really knows? But the point is that she's not this sweet, innocent woman from work.
I think she's just a poor woman going through some rough times that's at her wit's end, Meanie. I wouldn't know if I'd call her dark yet.
I would say that in real life terms, that does mark you as a dark person. All right. Well, I guess we know where you stand on spousal getting Jesus. Hell. All right.
Yep. You want to get into this, Meanie?
Not really. I think we know exactly where you stand, you fucking fiend. But,
I have sympathy for Beverly. All right. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, I do not. Anyhow, so let's take us back on over to the Bang Bang Bar. The Roadhouse.
Oh, God.
We're for another one of these great tension scenes, of long sweeping whole time to green onions, like for a full song, until the next and latest Renault brother picks up the phone and has a lengthy, very incriminating phone call about hookers.
He owes me for 2. Yeah. Fucking Christ,
Who, me?
Man.
Prostitutes? Yes, of course I'm involved with prostitutes. I'd love to make detailed things about it. I'd love to make detailed statements about it over the phone.
On a landline phone. Like, what the hell is he doing?
Everything about it was just like, this is not a great crime call.
There's so much crime that's happened at the Bang Bang Bar that I have to assume that somebody's monitoring the calls, right? Like,
it was
what
just
the fuck?
I guess sometimes you gotta bite the bullet, baby.
I know. Oh, God, dude. Of all the Twin Peaks villains, he is the worst. Like, that actor is the fucking worst. And he's great at what he does.
I love that actor.
He's great at what he does. I'm just saying he is the lowest of low-tiered villains in this fucking show.
You know what? He is the lowest of the low-tier villains, but I actually really like that guy a lot. The Great Went in all his forms, both Jean-Michel and the original. I enjoy them. I enjoy them quite a bit.
He wanted two blondes. I send them to. It's his voice, dude. He's got this like Jabba the Hutt meets Gorilla Grodd voice going on, and it's the fucking worst.
I really like it. So the hookers he's talking about, the two 15-year-old hookers that I have no idea why I would think this, but happened there. So maybe, perhaps those two girls that Richard grabbed in the earlier episode.
I'm going to guess not. They were there drinking and having fun at a table, not working. Maybe.
I agree with you in the sense that it's probably not them, but I also think that the possibility exists that episode ended darkly and strangely with no resolution on what happened to those girls. Mm-hmm. Also, as we've commented on in the past, Twin Peaks, not really crazy about enforcing ages and whatnot. So
lots of hookers and lots of drugs in that small town,
especially in that bar. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Particularly there.
Dougie.
Oh yeah.
Tom Sizemore is worried.
Well, he fucking ought to be. He just blew the whistle on him.
Yeah.
Dougie's still like an idiot, just digging his pen into his desk, not answering any questions.
Finding magic spots and making his drawings. The cops end up finding his car and show up at the workplace.
Just in time for his wife to walk in as well.
They found his car. Comedian, actor, champ David Koechner's there, as in some more of our fucking cameos that this show's loaded with, but they haven't bothered me yet. I keep expecting them to really bother me, and they have not.
They haven't been bad yet. Like
they haven't been bad. Nothing's been bad.
The only thing that's been bad was the fucking the Wild Ones reference, and even that I thought was funny as hell.
Yeah, that's the one thing that felt like, oh, this is gross. This is what I feared it would be, and then it didn't happen again, and I'm kind of like, all right, now I'm fine with it. Now I'm fine with it. So they found the car. They don't know. They're asking a bunch of questions. For lack of a better term, Dougie is still stroking out, not answering. Janie answers every question for him.
Mm-hmm. Which is amazing that it's amazing that none of the cops, and I know I bring it up every episode, but now these detectives don't go, what's wrong with this man? Why is he not answering a single one of our questions?
I'm beginning to think that Janie might be some form of a construct or something herself, because she has convincing powers over people like that borders on some form of a magic ability herself.
I think this is just Lynch's fascination and love with small town USA and like she said, the 99%. And I think that he's just trying to
Vegas.
Yeah, but she's been pointing. Yeah, but they don't live highly in Vegas.
Yeah, but he works for like a huge insurance company in a building.
Whatever, man. It worked on the gangsters and it worked on the fucking cops. Okay, that's the point I'm trying to get at here.
I guess
she demands some sort of small town respect because she's a hard-working woman and she's had a tough day. God damn it,
she's a tough cookie. Always was. Yep. They get away from the cops. They just kind of let them go. And on the way out, we see young Ike the Spike again.
Yeah, we do. And then...
Please walk us through.
Dougie and Janie are making a swift exit, and she's bitching about the money, but they still got some, and blah, blah, blah. And as they're making their plans, Ike the Spike comes up with a pistol now because his spike got bent in the last episode. And I had a moment where I was watching this episode by myself in the lonesome of my bedroom, literally sat up out of my bed and screamed, fuck yes, as this next scene happened, because I thought this was it. I thought he was going to come out of it entirely. Dougie Coop still apparently has the reflexes of Coop, because as soon as he sees the gun...
Old throat chops.
It's one side broad to his wife... grabs the hand of Ike the Spike, knocks him to the ground, and throat karate chops him twice.
Yeah.
As the beach ball mad sack head of the evolution of the arm starts screaming at him, squeeze his hand off, and Coop displaying gorilla-like strength to this poor little guy as he nearly squeezes his fucking hand off.
He's got Nadine strength all of a sudden.
Yeah, he really does, which is good. And hey, actually, now that you mentioned that, that might be true. Like, Nadine's strength in season 2 might actually be a reflection of something that happened to her.
Mind over matter. That would be a Coop thing.
But I mean, Coop squeezed his hand so hard that half his palm is stuck to the gun. When they
squeezed it off the gun. Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ.
God damn it, I thought we were going to get him in this episode, man. I gave him to this episode to give me Coop back, and they brought him back just enough.
I'm fine with it. That's forward momentum. I'm fine with it.
No, it better continue to be forward. Like, it better be shooting on all 4 cylinders next episode, because I need Coop back.
Coop's coming back, man. You know it.
Oof. God, he came back pretty hard in this one.
I came back hard on the throat. Like, the throat and the palm.
Coop doesn't fuck around, dude. Like, 2 or 3 chops right to the fucking neck, man.
Yeah, it's great. And that's the end of Dougie. It was not the Dougie show this week.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. Like, but you know what? No complaints about Dougie. And like, they've got 3 episodes of Dougie being Dougie. For me, I'm calm now. Let's take it back to the corpse of Major Briggs. Sort of.
Man, they are just like, that corpse is desecrated beyond belief. That's a bad looking corpse right there. I feel so bad for Major Briggs.
So Lieutenant Knox shows up to examine the headless body of who you postulated might be Major Briggs, and you're kind of right, except
possibly right.
You're kind of right, except the body's too young.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 40-year-old man's body, and Briggs should be in his 70s by now. Everyone is kind of standing around like, I don't really know what to... She does everything in her power to not tell the cops it's classified, but kind of basically says, like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but something big is about to happen. I
mean, the truth is she doesn't have any answers either.
No.
All she knows is she sees something that's definitive in front of her, but it should be impossible, and that's all she knows. Because I got the strong feeling that they're looking for those prints because they're related to some series of crimes. But remember that, like, Major Briggs has been recorded dead for 25 years now, like, supposedly with evidence of his death, too. So, doppelganger body?
Who knows?
Possibly?
Could be.
Yeah.
Well, we do know it has some kind of involvement with the supernatural.
Oh, yeah.
When she's reporting back to Ernie Hudson. I know the character has a name, but when I see Ernie Hudson...
it's Ernie Hudson.
It's Ernie Hudson. Like, whatever. Yeah. Respect. It's called respect. So she's calling Ernie Hudson and kind of relaying this information to him. And in the background, there's this really ominous sort of dark figure walking towards her. And at first you don't think it's anything, but the fact that he's framed in there makes you go, what the fuck is this? And it's that creepy, all soot-covered black potential lodge dweller, homeless guy that we last saw in the prison cell during the first episode or 2 when Matthew Lillard...
Well... He at least uses the same transportation that Coop has used, because when he's walking around, you hear the electric static sounds as through the lights as he's walking by them.
Yep.
And it's the same sound that we heard right after the kid got ran over by that truck, too. And I think it's safe to say that he is at least one, if not the guy who is traveling through the power tubes.
Could be. Could very well be. Also, Lieutenant Knox definitely notices him. So it's not that he's invisible and like only we, the viewer, see him. She definitely sees him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go to Albert and Gordon.
Okay. First off, did you notice that Gordon is humming Rammstein?
I did not. You posted that online and I went like, I don't know. I believe you.
No.
Like,
it totally is. I and our buddy Johnny confirmed it as well. And I'm like, wait a minute. Rammstein did a lot of the soundtrack shit for Lost Highway. Holy shit. Did Lynch actually do the whistling portion of that song?
Oh.
And this is just a nod to it? It could very well have happened. I'm going to have to research that a little bit.
We'll look into it. Yeah, I definitely, like, that's not a, we'll look into it, and then we'll never look into it. That's something worth looking into. Yeah, definitely.
But he's definitely whistling Eagle, or however you pronounce it at the beginning. Yeah, there you go. He's definitely whistling that tune at the beginning of his scene. Just an Easter egg.
Why not? So Albert and Gordon. Gordon's kicking back in his office. Albert bursts in, not pleased after what happened with his meeting with Diane.
Mm-hmm. Very unpleased. Didn't get very far, Albert.
You're right. And nothing really happens in this scene besides them going to see Diane, outside of the fact that Albert holds Gordon's feet to the fire and forces him to say, please, I need you.
Yeah, Gordon really does not want to meet Diane by himself, like at all.
Something's up. Yeah, I don't know. Like, hopefully we get some answers into the mystery of what the hell is Diane now, because previously I was not pleased with the introduction of Diane. I wasn't not pleased. I was 50-50 on how I felt about Diane's introduction as a real character. And now I think they're already doing justice to her, where I'm interested to see where it goes.
She hates the FBI.
I don't know that she does.
Okay, so far every agent she's met, even the new ones who she has no reason to dislike, she is the coldest of assholes to.
But I think she might just be a cold asshole. Remember, Gordon Cole can't hear. Dale Cooper has his weird Tibet psychic crap that he does. Albert is a prick. Chet Desmond is a prick. Like, Chet Desmond is a no-nonsense Humphrey Bogart style, just complete prick. I always got the impression the Kiefer Sutherland character was just too young. Sam was a little too young to have his quirk ironed out yet. He kind of felt like a Tammy-like figure.
And you think Diane's might just be she's a raging bitch?
I think Diane might just be a raging bitch. It's very possible. Tough cookie. Always was. It's very possible.
That's very fair. Okay, we'll continue. I don't want to jump this too quickly.
Whatever. They end up, they go to see Diane. She's none too pleased to see them in Philly. Mm-hmm. She comes in, basically tells them both to go fuck themselves. And by basically, I mean says exactly those words.
Literally tells them to go fuck off, yeah.
And she says, I don't have any coffee. And then comes in with 2 made cups of coffee. That's why I think that's her quirk. She comes in with the coffee, and they're like, thanks, Diane. They knew full well she was going to have the coffee.
Don't have any cigarettes either.
Yeah.
It's a great scene.
Great scene. Everything's great. I'm liking Diane a lot so far. And she comes along to meet Bob. While they're on the plane to get there, we see a little bit more of Tammy. She's explaining what she discovered with the fingerprints a few episodes ago.
Which is something that all the watching audience would understand, but it's just like, finally the FBI is actually getting evidence to fucking move forward on this.
Yeah.
And she basically says, look at these fingerprints, back from Agent Coop and back from the man who has been arrested. And Albert points out, is like, well, some Neanderthal is trying to make this newer set match the older set, and it does, but he had to mirror image them to work. In other words, Coop, who they have locked up's fingerprints, are in fact Coop's, but they're all mirror imaged from what they should be, which is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you get it immediately. There's nothing to even really discuss. You're like, ooh, it's just an ooh moment.
You have to understand that where the FBI has dealt with weird shit before, like with Jeffries and all that other crap, Coop is the only FBI agent that really knows about the Lodge. Albert was not present for any of this shit, and he's not really a believer in this crap to begin with. So, like, this is all news to the FBI. Now, I think if Hawk were to have seen these fingerprints, Hawk would be sharpening his knife and getting ready because he knows exactly what the fuck has gone down.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's good because it's finally pushing the 3 FBI agents of this show into a position where, like, that's impossible. That can't be correct. I don't think this man's Cooper.
And it's actually the 4 because I feel like we got our first introduction to Tammy being a real member of the team. Because, well, I mean, whatever you want to call Diane. She's FBI as far as I'm concerned.
Not anymore, apparently, but
gives her a dressing down.
Big dressing down.
Big dressing down, but that felt like breaking in the new kid. It seemed interesting. Diane and Bob have their meeting, which is, again, super creepy.
Something to express before that, Diane really does not want to do this.
No, not at all.
Is expressing complete discomfort, concern, and terror. Like saying, like, if she wants to call it off, she's going to call it off. Fuck everything. And
something happened the night that Coop got out. It's something like Gordon says, it's something extremely important. It involves something you know about, and that's enough said about that. Mm-hmm. And something happened when Coop went to Diane's place in Philly the night before he disappeared.
So Diane opens up the curtains and starts talking to Bob-Coop. And he's talking in that weird, creepy voice again that he only talks through that two-way mirror thing.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to, like, he talks normally other times, and this time he's, like, talking in a trance.
I guess they really have that microphone on creepy setting at the police station, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like, Coop asks, are you upset with me? And she says, what do you think? And a back and forth leads to her asking, when was the last time you saw me, Cooper? And he says, that night at your house. I don't think I'll ever forget that night. And her, full of rage and tears, screams, yeah, I'm never going to forget it either. And then immediately gets the fuck out of that room.
Yeah, that's not the Dale she knows.
Yep. Next scene is her crying, like, really badly outside in the parking lot while Gordon goes to console her and question her about what happened. Very, like, again, this is stuff that all the audience would know, but the FBI hasn't heard up until this point. She flat out says that is not Dale Cooper. She's like, it's not age. It's not the changes that he's made through time. It's something here. More specifically, it's what's definitely not fucking in here, pointing to her heart.
Yep.
And basically, Diane knows that this is a soulless monster that's wearing the skin of Cooper.
Definitely. They're all getting an implication of what the hell's going on. Meanwhile, so they get the hell out of there to hold this man, don't do anything. And that does not happen at all because we get a little bit more info on that Mr. Strawberry fella.
Not a lot, though.
Bob blackmails the warden with something bad happened to Mr. Strawberry. I'm taking it that Mr. Strawberry is not someone that's alive anymore.
He does say the late Mr. Strawberry, yeah. So I think you assume correctly.
I believe so. And basically blackmails him that information will get out, information of men you definitely don't want coming here. But if you let me leave, I don't care about you. He just wants a car, and he wants Ray out with him in the middle of the night. And indeed, that's what happens.
So him crashing the car and getting arrested, was this all an elaborate scam to get Ray out of jail?
One, I don't think so, because that's become a big movie trope over the years of, like, getting captured was my plan, to a point where I don't think Lynch would do it. And two, I don't think so. I think he had, like, a real problem where he flipped the car off the road because the lodge was trying to pull him back in.
But I think he also knew that was going to happen. So hear me out, because he chose to be in that specific place in that specific time when that shit went down, and then chose to still, like, he knew when the lodge was going to try to pull him back. And he purposefully had an automatic illegal rifle with a dog leg in his trunk ready to go for when it happened. And here's the thing. We know he wants Ray dead from the betrayal from the first episode. He's already killed his other partner.
Yeah, Ray's not going to walk out of this.
Coop asks for the warden to put a friend in the glove compartment. And I think we all know who that friend is intended for as they get out of there. So, yeah, maybe Ray does get out, but not without a struggle. Like, Coop wants him dead.
I don't think this is going to work out well for Ray. Yeah, so he gets out, and under cover of darkness, Ray and Bob-Coop abscond into the night.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it. We cut to a shot of the diner where what is it, Sleepwalk song that will probably be the song we intro the show to this week. Because, man, I love that song. But
I hate that song.
Oh, I love that song. Fuck you. Now it's definitely the intro of the show. But whatever. I love that song. We just get a brief glimpse of what normal life is like on a night in Twin Peaks. Some guy bursts in the door, yells, "Anyone seen Billy?" Ominously, no answer. And then it just kind of fades to credits as we just sit there and watch a night go by in the Double R Diner.
He doesn't even really wait for an answer. He comes flying in, asks that question, and before the words finish leaving his mouth, he's already looking down the road and halfway running past the diner.
I have to rewatch it, but I feel like Shelley gave him a quick head fake. I don't know.
They all stop and look, but the transaction is way too quick.
It's way too quick.
We're going to guess that the guy he was calling for was Farmer, as he is credited, because he did not make his 4:30 appointment with Andy.
And that's it. That's the end of the episode this week. A lot of ground covered. We got to see a lot more Diane. We got to see Coop come back for a brief brief moment, but to karate chop a small gentleman in the throat, which is always worth seeing.
Yeah, exactly what we needed him for.
The hero we deserve.
Hey, he's a hell of a fighter, always has been in this series, and I'm glad to see that they can get McLaughlin to keep doing that sort of shit, because I was kind of hoping for some action, and it finally happened.
There you go. Well, there's your gift.
Yeah, wait another 8 episodes before you see it again.
All right. Well, all right, everybody. That's the end of this episode of Fish in the Percolator. I've been Scott Meany. You can find me on Twitter @PureFiller or at purefiller.com. And that's pretty much it for me. Matt?
I'm Matt Shorney. If you want to get in touch with me on Twitter, I am @HandsomeTony. The O in Tony is spelt with a 0. And yeah, I run another little show, if you're not sick of my voice, called Sidecast. You can check that out at podomatic.sidecast.com. And also on iTunes, Stitcher, and anywhere else that podcasts are.
Hooray. All right. That's it. Thank you, everyone. Talk to you next week.
Hey, yours me for 2.
The great went.